What's up, DC Digital Collective 828? This is Rashina.
Hey, Sean.
We're back at it. It's Sunday night. We've been to church, we worship, we serve God, and now we're ready to talk crypto with you. So we hope that you've had a great day, and we hope that you are settling in and ready to jump on board with us this evening. Tonight we have a good topic. We want to talk about a question that we typically ask ourselves, and we think it's interesting, and we want to share it with you. So we are thinking, okay, why ISO 222 tokens are not being mass adopted by the retail segment, even though there is clear utility. So we want to just jump into that because we see a gap in between that. And we want to kind of jump into that because about 83% of Americans don't own any crypto, and so we are on the airways talking about the use of it. Not that we are everywhere, but it's a question that we have. We want to see what we can get into to help bring some more clarity in the space.
That's a large number. I mean, you think about 83% of the Americans, and I think the population in America is like 333 million people. So
Wow,
that's a
it's a large
lot.
number.
That's a lot of
Mhm.
people who don't I'm gonna say understand or have no interest in learning about crypto.
Right. And so, like, just so you know that these players that we're talking about that are part of the ISO 222, Ripple is who is owned XRP is literally a member of the ISO standards body. And Stellar is powering CBDC platform pilot, excuse me. And then Algorand is running the Central European Bank's digital euro on their tests. So but we're still only at like about a 17% adoption when it comes to the retail side of crypto. So we're gonna get into it this evening and see can we help, like I said, bring some light in that space. All right. All right. So when we say crypto, I believe that most people think about Bitcoin or meme coins first. Most people. Like there are people who have some background in the crypto space and those coins don't come to mind. But I'm talking about for those who are not adopting the 83% who really don't have an understanding of crypto. I believe when you say crypto to them, that they're thinking about just Bitcoin or meme coins. And
Right.
meme coins. Go ahead, Sean.
Now I say right because when I first got in,
Mhm.
I actually heard about Bitcoin back in 2010.
Mhm.
But it ain't giving any. I mean, to me, I wasn't interested because I'm like Bitcoin. What is that? No, I
Right.
just, I just, man, please.
Whoa.
It's not until a couple years later I started hearing about
Mhm.
Dogecoin, sheep, uh, and those kind meme coin at the time, and I was like,
Mhm.
okay. Then I started paying more attention to that. Then,
Right. Right. So, and I guess to give you an idea, for those who may not understand what meme coins are, just to give you a description, rather, meme coins are built for community engagement and speculations, and they have no relevance to financial infrastructure.
right.
So, um, just to give you an example, it's like thinking about Pokemon cards. I don't know if people have heard of those Pokemon cards. Can you take Pokemon cards and do anything in the financial system? You cannot, because Pokemon cards are what? Just for engagement and people use them. I don't have no clue what they're used for because I don't use them. But they are completely irrelevant to the financial infrastructure. And I just wanted to kind of give an example of that. So, my husband named some like Dogecoin. She
Mhm.
Was it Pepe?
Yeah, Pepe. This came out a couple years ago.
Yeah. So Safe Moon and those are some different ones that are like meme coins, but they're just, for people to, engage with each other, for those types of coins. But so we want to just give you some facts though about the IS-22 coins and their utility. So when you hear cryptocurrency, we don't want you to just think of Bitcoin and meme coins, what I just mentioned. We want you to think about the ecosystem of cryptocurrency.
Right.
What's available? Because meme coins are available, Bitcoin is available, and then the ISO 222 coins are available too.
Since you spoke about meme coin, I want to throw this out there as well
Hmm.
to let people understand.
You went off screen, Sean. Not sure what happened. Okay.
Okay. Once this regulation come in, they pass regulations for cryptocurrency, a lot of these meme coins may disappear.
Could be, could be. Um, uh, there are how many ISO tokens are there?
A total of 7 or 8, I think.
Yeah, so eight. So eight, and eight are compliant with ISO 200 2022. 22, I'm sorry. Keep saying
Hmm.
2022, but 22. And those are XRP, XLM, XDC, Go, IOTA, HBAR, Quant, ADA. So, but only XRP and XLM are part of the ISO 222 standards body.
Right.
And I want to get you so that you know how big these tokens are. So you really understand. So 1.4 million international payments daily are already using the new ISO 222 system. And then and that's 150 sending countries and 220 receiving countries.
That's a lot.
That
That's the
is.
whole world. That's the whole world.
Yeah, so it's not just us. That's why when we're talking about this, we want you to understand that cryptocurrency is an ecosystem. There are different types of cryptocurrency out there. And so you can't just think that's nothing, that's just play stuff. It's like monopoly money. You can't you have to think about who are the players in cryptocurrency, like who the players are, and to weed out the different players to say, do I like these players, do I like these players, do I like these players,
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Yeah, I think we did a video with our Patreon, and we mentioned that July the 14th, Fed now go live with the ISO 222, which
Yes.
is that's very important for us as in the United States, because banks have now had to be compliant in America with ISO 222. So this topic is very important. I'll say.
Right. And I think that too, another thing that people don't understand about in that space, is that when I just gave that breakdown of how many people or how many wire transfers are already happening using these cryptocurrencies platforms, that people, because it's not impacting them directly, because that's invisible to them. Like if an international wire is sent, right?
Hmm.
And it takes 10 minutes instead of 3 days. People don't get on their receipt that says, oh, this transaction was powered by XRP, right? So people don't see that. They just see, oh, this happened quicker, faster, that's money. So they don't see the behind the scenes that XRP was the rails that money rode on.
Right.
So that's what I think that also kind of is slowing the adoption by retail side. People not seeing the real impact, are not
Yeah.
seeing, but knowing.
I guess that's as they saying, seeing is believing, huh?
Yeah, right. So it's like the infrastructure. It's like
Hmm.
I want the robot, but I don't know what's inside the robot. That kind of thing. So but there's, like I say again, there's so many cases where that these ISO 222 coins are already working today, whether you see them or not. Bank of America is using multiple ISO 222
Hmm.
networks for institutional settlements. The European Central Bank is running
Right.
digital Europol. I said that in the beginning. CBDC sandbox environments are in South Korea and the UAE using Hedera. Let's see. And BP Ventures are implementing ISO 222 on Stellar blockchain. And then Dell Technologies has Project Concord, and they're running on Hedera for data validation.
It seems like as they say,
Hmm.
everything is moving so fast.
Right.
I do know that they're putting they putting the information out there. They really are. That they putting it in black and white articles. I mean, they're having conferences around the world. I think they
Yeah.
just had a Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas and an
Yeah.
XRP conference in Las Vegas. So the information is going out.
It is.
But I think that people time is not constraint to what's really happening. But we
People are
always
not.
tell
It's not
y'all.
their priority at the moment.
Right. We always tell you, please go do your research. We're just the messengers. I say, we do research all the time. Each and every day. So when we do our videos, my wife is very thorough about that, coming up with great topics to get pushed out there. Because we want you to be aware of what really is happening, as she said, behind the scenes. Because
Yeah.
you may get your money this quick, and oh man, you the I don't care about how I get my money and all this case maybe, and that's fine. You know, you have your choice, but at least have an idea of what's happening while you're getting your money in seconds.
Yes. And I'm gonna just say this too, because there was a survey that says like 51.5% of people don't understand crypto. 51.5% of people don't understand crypto. It's not, when I say crypto, I'm not even talking about understanding blockchain basics. I'm just talking about the tokens, the coins, the what's out there. They don't understand that. And so because they don't understand that, they don't understand how that these ISO 222 tokens are changing the financial system fundamentally. And so that's what we're aiming to do, is make it more relatable, make it more like real world, make it more like for the everyday person to understand how this impacts them. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go back to the example that my husband gave earlier about someone telling him about Bitcoin earlier, right? So he would have fell into that 51.5% if there would have served at the time by not understanding. And
Mm-hmm.
because he did not have an understanding, that impacted your decision making, right? To
Correct.
know if this was an opportunity you should look more into. But you
Mm-hmm.
didn't research it, you didn't look into it. It's not me coming down on my husband. It's just saying, I was in the same boat. I didn't know about it either. But I'm saying that was a missed opportunity. Even though Bitcoin is not an ISO 222 token or coin, it has extreme value currently.
Correct.
And if my husband would have looked into it, and it was the leader of the pack,
That's
right?
the first.
The leader of the pack. So if he would have taken a moment to get an understanding of it, because it was new, because it was unique, because it was something different, that is the reason why you should know about it, because it's new, it's something different, and it's outside of your norm. So that's when, if a new opportunity comes, do you think it's going to be just something that you already know about? Everybody knows about it, and
Nope.
everybody's doing it, and everybody's got it. If it's a new opportunity and something that could have value, everybody may not be doing it. Everybody may not know about it, right?
Right. And it's funny you say that because this is why we do what we do. Because the experience that I had getting to understand what Bitcoin was and all the things that come along with Bitcoin, then the cryptocurrency come behind that. Because Bitcoin was the first,
Yeah.
and then everything started falling around Bitcoin. So this is the reason why we go hard in, you know,
Share this
trying to get
information.
to give out this information because we was there.
Yeah.
We didn't understand it.
We missed
So
the opportunity.
right,
Yeah, we
you
missed the
know,
opportunity. And so we're trying to share it so that you can research. And we're not saying do anything, but we're
right,
saying at least look into what we're saying so that you
right,
have the information and you can make good decisions based upon the information that you
fine.
have found out from your own research. So, and here's another thing: crypto was all bad. Why is there federal regulations behind it?
That's a
Right?
good point. Good
So
point.
if it's all bad and it's nothing you should know about and it's nothing that you should pay attention to, it is not going to impact you. That's not true. There are federal regulations behind it now. The Genius Act, right?
Yeah.
The Genius Act, the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, right?
Hmm.
Even though it's not the coin that we are interested in, that was never heard of before, right?
Right.
Never heard of before. So there is something to it that you should be aware of. You cannot just let information pass you by. You say, I'm too busy or I don't have the time, like, to get an understanding. There are so many YouTube videos out. Now I don't suggest following every YouTube video because some of these videos out there are just promoting a whole bunch of hype and speculation.
Or clickbait, we call it.
Yes. So we are not, that's not what we hear about. We want to just share the information that we're learning and that is fact based and that is supported by credible information, credible
Right.
sources. So, we don't want to just send you out here on a goose chase, trying to say that this coin is going to hit this or this coin is going to hit that. We ain't
Right.
speculating. But what we are going to tell you is that what we see. And
Mm.
what we see and what we know are these coins that we're talking about that fall under this ISO 222. category, these have a use in our financial system. They have a
Exactly.
purpose. They have a
Right.
purpose.
And they will be around long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
this is our new financial system that's coming in.
Yeah. And let me tell you this. I just and on our we did a Patreon live with our Patreon subscribers. We talked with them, and one of the things I shared with them is that the U.S. Treasury announced that they are no longer going to make pennies, right? So they're going to stop making pennies because pennies cost too much money to make. Pennies cost about 3.7 cents to make one, right? So that means they're in a hole every time they make one. Do you want to keep producing something that causes you to be in the hole and you're losing money? So the U.S. Treasury don't want to either. They don't want to keep losing money on making these pennies. So there's no more pennies were made as of next year. I don't remember the specific date I gave, but as of next year, pennies will not be produced. What is that thing? And so think about that. They're gonna stop making the smallest denomination of currency, dollars, of fiat. So do you not think that they're not thinking ahead? They're just like playing it. They're playing it by ear. We're just gonna figure it out as we go. You think that's what the U.S. Treasury is doing? We're just gonna figure it out as we go. Oh, we're just gonna start the penny today. Who knows what we're gonna do tomorrow? They know.
Well, it's funny you say that because I'm sorry, during COVID, there was a thing saying that, people didn't want to use cash because you could catch, residue on the cash.
We didn't get
So what?
past COVID through cash.
Correct. So what happens when people start using debit cards and they check debit card account and stuff like that? They stop using cash. So they got to the point and say, "Hey, why are we holding on to cash if nobody's using it?"
Correct.
And then when you go into the stores, they tell you got to have what? Correct change. If it's $10.50, you got to have $10.50, or they're gonna
Yes.
round it up to the next nearest dollar. So you're gonna be paying $11. You're gonna give it. You just giving them more money, 50 cents, and you think, oh, I ain't 50 cents enough. What about if 50 to 2,000 people goes in there to the store and they give it extra $50, 50 cents? That adds up. That's a lot.
It does. It does. And more places are becoming cashless. So you got to have no, they don't accept cash. And so but that's not the point of our video tonight. But I just want you to see that all these things point in the same direction. Like,
Yeah.
all these little things that I'm mentioning point in the same direction. So you're hearing all of these little nuggets but if you're not doing anything about it, then you could miss the opportunity. And so what I'm saying to this is that look into these coins to see if they could how do they serve the retail investor? It's a question you could ask. How does they serve the retail investor? Use AI if you don't want to do some research. Now you got to check AI because AI is not always right.
That's
So
right. That's
so you
right.
got to check it if you use it. But there are so many different ways that you could go about doing some of this research, but at least growing your understanding, so that you know that, okay, maybe I need to be aware of this because this could impact me and it's going to impact you. Like, even if you don't ever send money across borders, even if you don't, have a true understanding of it, it's going to impact you. We have given so many videos about real world everyday impacts to users, the average everyday person, the working American, how that this crypto this new infrastructure will impact you.
Well, just what you just said. Even though you may not use certain things, but there's people who use Zelle, PayPal,
Mm-hmm.
Cash App. What is that? Western Union.
Mm-hmm.
So all this stuff is sending money. So all this stuff ties into the ISO 222
Yeah.
tokens. You
Right.
know, especially XRP. When it deals with sending money and XLM sending money. So you really need to understand the system. I say, especially if you
Right.
use one of those platforms to send money to other people or
Right.
pay for things where you may tap and get some gas or tap to buy food or anything like that. Or
Right.
Uber Eats, or DoorDash, something like that. All this stuff, it matters now.
It does. Digital, people use digital more than they use cash.
Correct.
So it's just thinking about people are getting slowly pushed into that mindset. So you're going to be already in that mindset by the time you don't have any cash to use. So, but let me go back to this. Remember when Amazon first came out, or first came out, and you could have bought shares of Amazon stock, and people were they weren't you weren't used to ordering like stuff online and having it shipped to you. Like people are more used to going to the store and buying their own stuff, and getting it from a department store versus Amazon ordering. You might not have trusted Amazon in the beginning. I think Amazon started off as a bookstore only.
They did
So
back
as a
in the
bookstore
'80s.
only. Yeah. So then they expanded into basically selling everything now. You can get everything on Amazon. So think about that. If you would have paid attention to Amazon and bought stock into Amazon early, like, when it was just a bookstore.
Hmm.
But again, the thing is, when you don't know, and you miss opportunities because you're not aware.
Right.
You're not aware. And listen, again, you may say, well, I'm busy. My life is this. My life is this. Listen, everybody got things to do every day. If you're an adult and you paying bills, you got things to do. So you have to make priority for yourself and for your own knowledge and for your own growth. So you got to prioritize that too. So
Correct.
yeah, so don't let just busyness cause you to lose out on information.
That's
So
right.
right. What was I gonna say? You got anything else trying to add in this?
No, I mean, I think we cover a lot of information.
We did. And again, like I said, we just wanted to just get on tonight because, we think about so many people because our goal is to make sure that, listen, people get this news, they become aware, and that we can make it relatable and understandable and easy, and not just a whole bunch of jargon we throw at you, and a
Yeah.
whole bunch of like numbers. Oh, it did this and it did that. No, we want to say, this is what it is. This is how it's going to impact you. And this is information that you need to go and research on your own as well. We're big proponents of that. All right, Sean, you got something else? Okay, I already actually I did. All
Yeah.
right, I'm sorry. I just wanted to tangent. I
No,
forgot
no
about asking the
problem. No
question.
problem.
All right, guys. We hope that you've had a great Sunday. We thank you for hanging out with us. We thank you for following us. We thank you supporting. We thank you for supporting our channel and checking in with us. We appreciate you guys.
We always look forward doing our videos on Sunday. To just get the word out. But we also appreciate your comments, your likes, your share, your everything. I'm just saying everything. We appreciate
We
everything.
appreciate everything, y'all. Appreciate everything. Well, listen, it is the 1st of June. Do something different this month. Listen, do something different.
Wow,
Enjoy.
six
You know,
months, huh?
6 months into the year, I can't believe it.
Wow.
I can't believe it. But enjoy your life, enjoy your day, enjoy your evening. Let's break these barriers and build legacy for our family and for our friends. Peace out. Love y'all. All right, deuces.